All right, next up, let's get talking about sample variations and how you can use them within your drum loops. Let's dive in. Now, to be clear, there are a few different ways that you can approach this, but I'm going to give you a way that I think is relatively simple and keeps things fun and creative. So what you're going to do is find a sample that you want to do some variations of, preferably within the beat you've already created, or you can do this ahead of time, but for beginners, this will make a little bit more sense. So for this example, let's use the snare drum, this main sound here. I'm going to hold Control and I'm going to drag it over into a new section here on the left side. And I'm going to keep holding Control and drag it out a few more times. We're going to do 4 variations right now. They all sound the same, and that's okay. Let's go into some audio effects. We are going to put some different effects on each of these. And the way you're going to do that is to drag just into this little sliver here past the sample itself. So this version, we're going to create an 8-bit version. Let's go more extreme, maybe a little less. Sounds pretty good. Next up, let's try roar on the sample here. You can actually just drag it straight onto the sample itself, and that will bring it into the correct location here. So let's try adding some drive. It's getting quite loud. I'm going to turn that down a bit. It's getting there. It has a little bit more of that saturation. We can filter it down a bit. We're just trying to create 4 different sounding versions of this. That works for now. Let's put a phaser on this third one. This may or may not work. Phasers like to be working with longer content generally, but let's see. Next up, let's put some overdrive on this sample here. We're going to cut out the lows, give it a bit of drive. It's pretty loud. Let's bring down the volume a bit with a utility. And for the other one, we'll put on a hybrid reverb. Let's check it out. Maybe every once in a while we want a really big boomy reverbed version. The idea is you can use whatever VST effects you want. You're just trying to create variations. And you don't have to just do this with the snare. You could try this also with one of the hi-hats and maybe one of the percussion sounds, and then start creating your variations from there. Now, when I go back into the loop, what I'm going to do is take the snare drums that I have, which happens to be 4, and I'm going to pull them up to the different variations that we just created. 2, 3, 4. So we have the Redux one hitting first, then this one, then this one, then this one. I think I'm going to go safe, and then, so this one's more safe. I think the way I'm going to lay this out is actually with this one first, because this is a pretty safe sound. This one's a bit more adventurous. This one's pretty safe, and this one's more adventurous. Let's try it out in the beat. Again, just creates more variation and makes the loop a little bit more interesting. Let's try one more. This time we're going to try out one of the hi-hat sounds. It looks like these 2 are the ones that are used the most. I think this one here. So we're going to take this, hold Control, drag it up to this line this time. 2, 3, 4. It doesn't have to be 4, by the way. It can be whatever number you prefer. However many variations you want is really all that matters. Let's take dynamic tube. Let's take a chorus. These are going to be subtle, by the way. Let's take an auto pan. And again, we'll take in overdrive. So let's go through each of these, mangle them a little bit. So here's our first sound. Play around with that. Adds a bit more flick to that initial transient, gives it a bit of saturation. It's subtle. If we played a bit harder, that's when you start to hear that saturation a bit more. So that gives it something that's a little bit unique. Let's take down the output just a little bit. Next up is chorus. Let's go with this ensemble, why not? Next up, auto pan. This one I'm just going to crank the amount, and it's going to play randomly a little bit in between the stereo field. So it's not always exactly where we place it, which in this case would be defaulted to center. That's fine as is. And last one. Make that one a little bit warmer in terms of its tone. So now we have 4 variations of that main hi-hat. Let's go back into our beat and add those in. So this is the main hi-hat here that I'm going to drag up. 2, 3, 4, here, 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 and here. So I have one of them that's a little bit more anchored, and it's a pretty safe sound. Now we have. So the whole point of this class was just to say that you should feel free to take some of the sounds you're working on and create variations. This was just a brief overview. I'd probably go into some more granular detail using some different plugins that are very specific outside of the realm of what Ableton gives us. That being said, Ableton gives us tons of ability to be able to fuse these different effects together, come up with different variations, and things that are a little bit more creative depending on how you combine them together. But as you can see, the variations weren't too tough to create. They did add some fun textural differences and just gave our beat a little bit of a more unique flavor. So that's it for this class on sample variations. In our next class, we're going to be talking about using samples that are intentionally pitched and understanding how to use those properly within your beat. I'll catch you in that next class.